Since President Ibrahim Traore came into power in September 2022, we can all agree that he has been working really hard to turn things around in Burkina Faso. Unlike other elected African presidents whom we cannot pick the specific things that they have accomplished in power, the reverse is the case for President Traore. He has outfitted the Burkinabe military, bought weapons and equipment for the Burkinabe security forces, reclaimed land from terrorists, kicked out French forces, and established diplomatic relations with non-Western countries, especially Russia, and so many others. He has been a remarkable leader to the Burkinabe people, so much so that when his transition government ended on June 1st, the Burkinabe people mobilized and demanded that his administration be extended. However, despite all these, there are still some people who have been working with foreign forces to ensure that Traore is removed from power and a puppet leader is installed. In this video, we will be discussing the recent attack on Traore, the aftermath, and how Russia has pledged to protect Traore. Following reports of gunshots close to the presidency in May, hundreds of Burkinabe protesters gathered at the country's capital, Ouagadougou, to show support and solidarity for President Traore's administration. The protesters gathered at a roundabout right in the middle of the capital and vowed to uphold President Ibrahim Traore's government. According to the protesters, earlier in the afternoon of the same day, gunshots fired close to the presidential palace had been heard. They said they didn't know what was happening, but they decided to come out to stop anything bad from happening and also express their support for the presidency. The Burkinabe News Agency reported that a lone individual had tried to attack a guard at the palace, but there were no injuries or damages. However, the security forces then closed off access to the area around the palace. It's obvious that that person was trying to get access to Traore to eliminate him, but thankfully he was stopped. This attack on Traore made it the 9th attack since he took power in 2022. In this current time, there have been African leaders who have been subjected to assassination attempts, such as the military leader of Mali. We can arguably say that Traore is the most attacked president in recent times. The question is why? Well, to answer this question, we have to remind you of what former French economic minister Thierry Breton once said in mid-December last year. He said, "It's the imbecility of Emmanuel Macron that opened the eyes of Africans. One thing is sure, if France loses its colonies, our children and grandchildren will go to Africa to search for their livelihoods. Immigration will change direction. Macron needs to go. If not, France will suffer. Europe needs to unite to fight this new African vision. If one of the heads of the putschist falls, the others will abandon the vision. Africa does not have history, so Africa can't manage the world." We know this statement is sickening, and we have already analyzed and thrashed it in one of our videos, so you can watch it to see more. But there is something we want to bring out from this statement. Thierry said, "If one of the heads of the putschists, also referring to the military leaders of the Sahel, falls, the others will abandon the vision." As you can imagine, what he is saying is that if one of them is removed from power, either through assassination or through a coup, then it will be easy for the others to also be removed, and the Sahel would go back to civilian rule, which would mean that France can begin to spread its influence once again. So, we can conclude that Traore has faced many attempts to remove him from power because France does not want him to remain in power. There are some things that have happened to confirm this notion. First, the 9th attack on Traore happened just a few days before his transition government ended and at a time when the council responsible was preparing and planning on what to do next. Imagine if the attack was successful and Traore was killed, then Burkina Faso would have quickly switched back to civilian rule, where politicians would have a field day once again, doing whatever they like without concern or regard for the people. It seemed as if they knew that there was a possibility that the transitional government of Traore would be extended as a result of the people's support, and that's why they decided to take out Traore. But, thankfully, it failed. Secondly, a few days after the transitional government of Traore was extended to 5 years, Burkina Faso experienced one of the deadliest attacks since they began to fight insecurity in the country. Now known as the June 11th attack, this attack was different in some ways. The armed insurgents didn't attack civilians as they normally do. Instead, They hit an unsuspected attack on the Burkinabe military base in Mansilla, which led to the death of around 100 soldiers with many more missing. Also, unlike their other attacks, the armed insurgents came out publicly to declare that they were the ones responsible for the attack. This is not something they usually do in Burkina Faso. The insurgent group known as JNIM shared videos of its fighters riding motorbikes and shooting relentlessly in a remote village of mud-walled buildings. They also shared videos of raging gunfire around the army base. Another video showed a display of ammunition and dozens of weapons, and at least 7 captured Burkina Faso soldiers. Attacking civilians is bad, but by attacking the military and publicizing it for the world to see, it's very obvious that this is not their usual type of operation. And given that it happened just a few days after the transitional government of Traore was extended, we can't help but think that foreign forces, including France, are behind this. And the notion is not far-fetched. After all, France has been accused several times of sponsoring and spearheading some of the insurgents in the Sahel so that they can continue to remain military-wise in the Sahel. Just like President Traore said, they are trying to destabilize the country and bring fear into the hearts of the Burkinabe people. By attacking the army, France wanted to create a narrative that the Burkinabe army was not competent enough to fight the insecurity and would need the help of international forces, so there would be no need for Traore to remain in power. It also attempts to remove the support that the Burkinabe people have shown to Captain Traore. However, Captain Traore is still president of Burkina Faso, and part of the reason why could be attributed to Russia. Russia has been strengthening ties with Burkina Faso since Traore came to power. In fact, we can say that Burkina Faso is one of the strongest allies of Russia in Africa, and because of this, Russia would not want to see him removed from power. After the 9th attack on Traore, Russia's foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov, paid a visit to Burkina Faso to pledge Russia's support for Burkina Faso. Speaking at a news conference in the country's capital, Lavrov stated that Russian instructors have been working in Burkina Faso, and their numbers will increase. He said that Russia has assisted in the training of Burkina Faso's law enforcement and military forces, and will continue to supply military equipment to help strengthen the Burkinabe's defense capabilities, which will help it eliminate the insurgents in the country. The Russian foreign minister also expressed gratitude for Burkina Faso's objective and fair stance on the conflict in Ukraine. He added that Russia is prepared to lend its support to Burkina Faso as it fights for its right to be free from neo-colonial control. From the statement of the foreign minister of Russia, you can see that Russia is very much ready to help Traore defend not just the insurgents, but also against those forces that want to remove him from power. Now, after the June 11th attack and whispers of mutiny within the Burkinabe army began to unfold, Russia immediately fulfilled the pledge made by its foreign minister. According to an African diplomatic source speaking on condition of anonymity, 2 rotations of planes carrying Russian instructors arrived in Burkina Faso. He added that the flights came from neighboring Mali, which has also forged close ties with Russia. Another independent source also confirmed the arrival of the instructors, a term used for former fighters from Russia's Wagner mercenary group, now regrouped under a new body called the Afrika Corps. These Russian instructors are not just present to instruct the Burkinabe military, but also to protect Ibrahim Traore from those who plan to remove him from power. You see, it's in the interest of Russia that Traore continues to lead Burkina Faso, because Traore has been a supporter of Russia at a time when the West has sanctioned Russia and placed it in isolation. There's no doubt that both Traore and the Russian government would continue to work together to ensure that Burkina Faso is not destabilized, and Traore continues to lead his people in good faith.